We're in the woods, across the highway from where Robert Parks, an abortionist, has a mistress living right across the highway right over there. He's a doctor. Six months ago, I was selling women's shoes. Can you believe that? Now I'm out here in the woods, shooting people.
Is this a difficult shot?
Well, kind of. I have to hit him while he's walking, before he gets into his car.
That's tough.
Yes, it is.
Why don't you just shoot him when he's sitting in his SUV?
Because if I hit the glass, it could change his trajectory.
How far are we from the house right now?
We're about 250 yards.
Kun Lars täytti 5 vuotta, veljeni Sipi osti hänelle videopeli. Ensisilmäyksellä se näytti olevan vain yksi peli muiden joukossa, mutta jossain vaiheessa se iski tajuntaan. Tämä ei olekaan mikä tahansa peli, vaan siinä puhutaan Zulu 9. Siis tästä ryhmästä Amerikassa. Miten pieni sinisilmäinen poikani päätyi pelaamaan tällaista peliä, missä musta mies ampuu abortin kannattajia Amerikassa? Ketkä tässä on niitä pahiksia?
Ja abortin tekijät.
Abortin tekijät? Minkä takia?
Kun ne ottaa kaikki ihmiset pois.
Tappaa kaikki ihmiset. Mitkä ihmiset?
Ne mustat ihmiset.
Mustat ihmiset?
Ne tappaa niitä kaikkia mustia ihmisiä.
Let me start over. My name is Ani Juva. I'm a documentary filmmaker here in Helsinki, Finland. I live with my boyfriend Gregor and our son Lars. Gregory is an actor. I met him on the set in 2012. My documentaries have always focused on musical subcultures, skinheads, ravers, girls. I enjoy my work, but I never felt like my work was truly original, groundbreaking. Then I found out I was pregnant.
Hei Maija, ootko sä siellä?
Hei Ani, moi! No, Ruudi haluaa saada sen heitösohjelman Venezuelaan, kun siellä on
Ja sitä...
terroristeista.
Joo, ja muistaakseni kun mä mainitsin sen pelinkin, Gates of Hell. Gates of Hell.
Terroristeistako?
Terroristeista, joo.
No, joo. Okei, vaikka toi on kyllä iso summa rahaa, mutta onks tää nyt varmasti se paras aihe?
Siis ehdottomasti. Tästä mä haluan tehdä filmin.
No one had made a documentary about Zulu 9 yet. My producer Maya gave me the green light and I was off. In order to understand the Zulu 9, I decided to start with a fellow filmmaker. Molotov Mitchell and Michael Williams were abducted by the Zulu 9 and forced to film their attacks. Mitchell was a guerrilla filmmaker with a reputation for dangerous assignments. He also knew how to reach millions with internet videos, which made him perfect for the Zulu 9. I met Molotov at his studios in North Carolina. We hit it off and he was kind enough to provide us with never-before-seen footage on the Zulu 9.
It wasn't actually as bad as some people might think. We were never mistreated. We were never, but we were always fed. We were always taken care of. It's not like I went to prison for a year. I spent a year making the most amazing series of films I would ever make.
Exactly, yeah.
Controversial, radical, evil to some people, the ultimate good to others. I mean, up until this point, no one had ever had footage like this. No one had ever actually traveled with a terrorist group.
Molotov Mitchell managed to get me an interview with one of the Zulu 9 in person.
My name is Jay Ketta, aka Stack, and what I'm known for is being a part of a controversial group, the Zulu 9. I participated in many revolutionary acts as far as to educate and bring black genocide to the forefront, which most people don't know about. And they don't know the history of black genocide. It started as a way to convince blacks to kill themselves. My mother, she decided to abort me, and the technique that was used was saline injection. This didn't work on me because I feel God protected me. I felt that I was meant for something more. I feel like I'm an instrument, a person that's meant to do God's work. When you have a destiny, it can't be interrupted. I was an abortion survivor. That doesn't happen often, especially on saline injections. Usually you burnt up 3rd degrees all over your body and born stillborn. That was one time God saved me. The next time God saved me, I fell out of a moving vehicle, moving over 70 miles per hour, rolled in the street, intersection. There were cars everywhere before I fell out. I should have been dead then too. So when I realized that I don't know what it is yet, but I'm here for a purpose, I'm here for a reason. So me becoming a Zulu 9 member, that same purpose, that same drive was there. There was no fear present. I knew that I'm gonna survive because I'm meant to. That's why whenever there was a mission and they had something dangerous, something that they knew you probably wasn't gonna get home, I was first hands up. I didn't care. I knew I wasn't gonna die. In the Bible, it says that we need to defend the defenseless. People don't understand that. People think it's crazy for me to walk into a restaurant, blow a guy away, 12 gauge flechette rounds, rip him apart. But they don't think it's crazy that 5 minutes prior to me getting there to finish him, he was ripping babies apart. I think people need to understand that what I do is what's needed. Is it needed to rip a baby apart? Ever? I can't think of a time that is. You tell me.
It's angels on my right, demons on my left, and God don't shed no tears for the wicked.
You can't negotiate that human life is expendable.
Sweat, shells, and conviction. I live, I breathe, I die for the mission. And God don't shed no tears for the wicked, so I won't shed no tears for the wicked.
Committed such great sins, God will not have sent a punishment like me upon you. I am Genghis Khan, the Zulu 9. For nearly 40 years, you have waged genocide on my people. Ever since Margaret Sanger founded the Negro Project, the abortion industry has systematically targeted my people for extinction. You have murdered tens of millions, and God has heard the children's blood crying out from the ground. We are the vessels of his wrath. You have waged war on our children, but now, this war has two sides.
On the 4th of July, a man calling himself Genghis Khan appeared in an online video calling abortion black genocide. Khan warned abortionists that if they did not resign, they would be assassinated. Some people thought it was a prank. Others wondered if it was some sort of advertising stunt.
I am the punishment of God.
Hardly anyone took it seriously.
Tragedy struck today on the I-18. In the middle of rush hour traffic, a sedan suddenly exploded.
Over the following 13 months, more videos of Genghis Khan would appear.
This guy walked in and shot her.
And each time, abortionists would die.
A spokesman from the women's clinic acknowledged that the victim was, in fact, an abortion provider.
3 dead and 1 wounded in what could be yet another attack by the Black Power group
across the nation,
Zulu 9.
and investigators
An African-American male was seen exiting the parking lot in a black van.
In the Detroit area.
Get it together. A man in a balaclava and an 80K-47 assault rifle is on the internet telling you he's going to start killing people.
I ran inside,
People turned around to stop the blaze before it spread to adjacent homes, but paramedics have told us that 3 people were killed.
What is he
I've been serving in the legislature for nearly 20 years now, and during this time I have never seen anything as effective in bringing about change than the Zulu 9. When the Zulu 9 story first broke, people were a little concerned, and here would be videos showing up on the internet, and the next thing you know, an abortionist is dead somewhere.
I hope this film sets the record straight on the Zulu 9, because every time I see a kid on the street wearing a Zulu 9 t-shirt, I want to blow my f***ing brains out. Because these were not revolutionaries, they were not folk heroes, these were cold-blooded, bigoted assassins. They were terrorists, and that's how the government classified them, terrorists.
When I heard about the Zulu 9, of course I was saddened. We're the ones who have been pro-life, we're against all forms of violence, yet I understand it. It's the African-American community that's been targeted. In fact, Planned Parenthood has taken more lives in the African-American community in a week than the Ku Klux Klan had been able to do in their entire existence.
I can see where the black population of leadership is connecting the dots, because their history shows at one time they were considered 2/3 human. They were nothing but property to be disposed of. You can't negotiate with the radical notion that human life is expendable.
This was a handful of whacked out black people with schizophrenic tendencies that the white pro-life community latched onto to push their far-right extremist agenda.
This is a letter to Clarence Gamble from Margaret Sanger, in which she wrote, "We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through a religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten out this idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members." That right there is racist.
Pro-life people have always said the end doesn't justify the means. We've always said it never justifies killing those who commit abortions because we are now become part of what we hate. The Zulu 9 didn't believe that.
I bet you ain't think that I'd find you at your house, and now I got you tied up sitting next to your spouse. Jay Ketter, mask on, time to get his blast on. Your head like potatoes, time to get my smash on. I leave out for the cops come, and I ain't scared, come prepared to walk around with a shotgun. A big gun that go like, block out. Abortionist, I'm in the street, what you really want now? You don't want me, you don't really want problems. Y'all dudes is soft just like talcum. I do anything just to get to you. Jay Ketter, leave abortionists black and blue.
I heard that you survived abortion yourself.
Yes, I did. That is very true.
But I'm really curious to hear that. How did the abortion affect your relationship with your mother?
To be quite honest with you, there was no relationship with my mother.
Yeah, I can imagine why.
This is it right here. This is where we did everything. Zulu 9, our training ground, our headquarters, our lair. Our place where we learned our focus, where we gained our drive, where our determination was built. Right here. You're looking at it. This is our Masada.
Molotov showed me footage that had never been released. Footage of the Zulu 9 in training. 1 year before their first attack, the Zulu 9 trained at the mountain base in North Carolina. They call it Masada.
3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, 2, 3, 9, 1, 2, 3. I got the phone.
You see this right here? Yeah, I see it. That's what we don't
hell
need.
was that?
What you mean, what was that?
Man, that's some old bull. Hold your weapon.
Howard Marshall, aka Booker T, fought in Desert Storm and Iraqi Freedom. He was Dak's cousin and the man in charge of training the Zulu 9.
Do its thing at the right time. It'll work naturally. Breathe in, breathe out. Try it again.
That better for you?
My cousin Booker T, man, always taking his shoes off. No shoes Booker, what we used to call him, man. Any opportunity to take them big corn chips out, he took them out. You had to leave the room when them shoes came off, boy.
The footage showed the side of the Zulu 9 I didn't expect.
Come get some of this water.
Hell nah. Y'all enjoy it for me, baby.
What?
If you don't drop on the way out, you enjoy that more than free.
Y'all
enjoy it. I ain't one with nature like that, baby.
Mike, I know
It was hard to believe that these were the terrorists that had killed so many abortionists.
Oh, Booker T. Get your big feet out that water, man.
Hey, look at his big toe though.
It's bubbling to the top right now.
this area here, these mountains, this is where Eric Rudolph was hiding.
Really?
Yeah. I actually saw him a few years back. He was hiding by a water dam. Saw him jump off the ledge, down into the dam and took off. Never seen him again.
That's crazy.
Eric Rudolph. Did a lot of this, man. Did a lot of this in the military. That's why the hands are quick. Say the jokes.
Think your hands is quick for the military, boy. I mean, we going.
Simple enough.
Simple.
When I look down this barrel, it tells me that somebody don't know their weapon like they should. Full of dirt. Ain't been clean. Somebody ain't making love like they supposed to. I told you, you gotta love on it.
Come on, Stan. You can do better than that.
Better win, Booker T.
Stay all that muscle for nothing.
Keep it going, keep it going.
Come on, baby.
Keep it going.
Come on, baby.
Looking good.
Come on, Stan. Come on. I see you, Book. Show him what it is.
Take him to the end. That good. There you go. It's where we should come up, man. I know you probably can't see it from there. It goes all the way down. All the way down, man. We should just go at it every time. Each time getting stronger. He was more like my brother than my cousin, honestly. I'm gonna miss my cousin, man. I'm gonna miss my brother.
My name is Howard Marshall, a.k.a. Booker T, and I'm a member of the Zulu 9.
Desmond Dollar, a.k.a. Fuego, sniper for the Zulu 9.
I'm Madison Thomas, a.k.a. Zip, a member of the Zulu 9.
I'm Tahira Williams, a.k.a. Sapphire. I'm a member of the Zulu 9.
Julius Ketta, a.k.a. Stat, Zulu 9 member.
My name is Durante Sims, a.k.a. The Prince, and I'm a member of the Zulu 9.
I'm making this tape. Should something happen to me, you'll know the cause and the reason why I do what I do.
To the young black women, I personally found myself in a predicament when I was 16.
The first time I seen a baby's aborted, it was disgusting to me.
I know in my heart that I was put on this earth for a reason, and that is to unearth all the dirt that the government and all the corruption it has caused with my people, the black people. We've always suffered under their hands.
And I want my country to know that you betrayed me and you betrayed my people.
I was told, actually, to go to the Planned Parenthood.
I feel the white man has influenced Lisa to take away what was rightfully mine, which is my daughter. And you all know what happened, and I feel like I have to make a stand. This has to stop.
You call it a Planned Parenthood to pretty it up. Some call it abortion. I call it murder. You have been murdering our people, black people, the same ones you drug over here. You're carrying on your forefathers' legacy. And you're killing ours. You drug us here to this country, you made us slave, you treated us like dirt, and then you want to take and kill us off because you don't know what to do with us. You created this.
The doctor came in and just coldly ripped life out of me.
I wish this was a better world that we live in, that I wouldn't have to do the things that I'm about to do, but it's not.
I'll stand up. The Zulu 9 will stand up.
I don't even know why we're making this video. Simply put, abortionists, I'm gonna kill you.
Zulu mind frame, militants versus ignorance, the Zulu mind game.
They wanted to make everyone aware of black genocide. They were targeting the clinics and they wanted everyone to know.
We're headed toward the gallery where Booker T and Stack showed up.
And you were filming.
Right, I was filming, of course, and they made a public appearance. They were treated like rock stars. So this is the building. We came right from down the street here, as you see in the video, came right in here.
What do you think they tried to accomplish with this? incidents and showing up like that?
Well, they were interfacing with the public. I thought for sure they're going to get caught.
Yeah.
But nobody called the police on them. So turns out it was kind of a brilliant PR campaign.
So, what made the Zulu 9 impossible to catch?
Well, they weren't. I caught them.
Right, but no one could catch them but you.
Well, the Zulu 9 were unusually meticulous about evidence. And they planned these attacks years before, and they covered every contingency. They didn't communicate by phone or letters. And they used email in a peculiar way. Their captain, Freddie Moss, would set up email accounts for them and then log in as them, write a draft, save it, and log out. Later, the soldiers would check their saved drafts. That's where their orders would be.
No emails were sent, nothing could be tracked.
Nothing could be tracked, exactly.
What about the evidence? Crime scene evidence?
Well, normally criminals leave fingerprints or hair, blood, something at the scene of the crime.
Now, so people can understand, what if the criminals wore gloves?
Right. Well, even if they do, they usually don't wipe off the bullet casing, and we could at least pull prints off the bullet casing or partials.
And what if they never touched the bullet?
They always touch the bullet, even if they wore gloves to shoot the gun. They didn't when they were loading the gun.
But what if they did? What if they wore gloves even when they handed the bullets? What if they never touched the bullets with their fingers?
Then they'd never be caught. They have to slip up in some other way because there'd be no evidence for us to follow.
And that's what the Zulu 9 did?
That's correct. They never touched one bullet without gloves on. They are the only criminals I've ever seen do that.
After this phone interview, Detective Ray Lewis agreed to sit down with me at his ranch in Wyoming. I wanted to learn what it was like to hunt the Zulu 9.
The first case I worked was the Charles Manson case when I was with the LAPD. Since then, I've worked on the Unabomber case, the 9/11 tragedy, the Oklahoma City bombings. We've saved two bridges, the San Francisco Bay Bridge and the Brooklyn Bridge, from being destroyed. And we also worked on the Chicago attacks. So when they called us in, we knew this was serious. On July 4th, a message went out on the internet from a man calling himself Genghis Khan, citing 30 years of genocide. What I saw in the video was the same thing we saw in the Middle East many years ago. To me, it just smacked of terrorism. And that's exactly how I felt, that he was a terrorist. The Zulu 9 began airing or broadcasting their attacks on the internet. We'd never seen anything like that. It was unprecedented. They were targeting the clinics and they wanted everyone to know. The first attack was in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Dick Bachman, an abortion provider, was fatally shot and killed. The suspect was described as a young black male. 2 days after the Bachman attack, an abortionist named Celia Long was murdered in her living room with two of her friends when someone threw a hand grenade through her window. Approximately 1 week later in Matthews, North Carolina, a victim named Soetoro was sitting on her front porch and fatally shot with a 12-gauge shotgun. On August 2nd, the Zulu 9 were declared enemy combatants or terrorists, and that's how we became involved in the investigation. In only 1 month's time, 3 people turned up missing from the abortion clinics. 17 people were either killed or injured at the clinics, or as a result of working at the clinics. And approximately 30% of the abortion industry's workers had resigned. It became a very dangerous job to be working in an abortion clinic.
I've got to tell you, when we first got the news, as the rest of the nation did, about the horrible slaying in Michigan, and then not long after that, Celia Long, a friend of mine, being blown up right here in Winchester, Massachusetts. My partner, Sam Benton, and I were just, I can't tell you, there were days on end. We couldn't even eat.
Celia Long wasn't an abortionist. Her two friends weren't abortionists, but they got killed with a hand grenade in an apartment building. That should have been a lead story. But no, the media never goes after black people. They killed American civilians in cold blood, but all we ever get is some story about why abortion clinics are in black neighborhoods.
We were actually nauseous from the whole thing, and I've got to tell you, I'm a soldier at heart and perfectly willing to labor on, but it's my partner Sam really that's led me to make the final decision. I want to stress that I'm no longer involved in the industry whatsoever. I will never perform another abortion in my life. Just want to be left alone.
During this volatile period, pro-life politicians became more vocal about black genocide. Two key figures were Senator Hollis George and his protege, Tamara Black, a congresswoman from Louisiana.
For me, abortion really wasn't an issue. I just dealt with life and liberty for, people who made it out of the womb. And I just didn't think about it, and it didn't really affect me that much. Obviously, that's very selfish, and I think that was the deal with America. America didn't care about pro-life because they felt like it didn't affect them. But then the tables turned when my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. She told me she'd had several abortions. I started doing the research, and that's when I discovered the link between abortion and breast cancer. And after Melissa died, I had to make it right. And I had to make it right by making sure American women were no longer lied to.
Planned Parenthood ravenously consumes fertility of the strong, devours the young, and protects the rapists of the innocent. The pharmaceutical companies and medical communities benefit.
Because of my work in Louisiana, I had garnered a lot of attention from the national GOP. And of course, some of that was negative. At that time, it was an emerging idea to be linked to life and liberty in the Constitution. It was hard to fight for that and to bring everybody back to the least common denominator of what was government for, what was the proper role of government. So then one day, I'm sitting in my office and I get this phone call from Hollis George, and I was just blown away. It was by far the highlight of my career, because here's a man whom I had admired from afar. He's fighting that war on the federal level of advancing this idea of life and liberty, advancing, we must get back to the Constitution. He called me up and said, I want you to come out to Washington and meet with me and meet with some other people. That was really pinnacle turning point of history. I realized as I was on that plane, everything that I've done so far has built up to this moment.
Senator George and Speaker Black created a big problem for us, and the fact that they were using the Zulu 9's attacks on the abortion clinics to springboard their political agenda. Even though they disagreed with the Zulu 9's manner in which they were accomplishing their goals, they were still using them. We were under immense pressure from the political arena because the public, they were becoming more aware of the abortion issue, especially related to the black community. Black genocide had become a buzzword. They wanted to make everyone aware of black genocide. We were able to trace the videos to a South American country, Venezuela, to a company called CanCam, who were actually putting the videos on the internet. We have no legal standing in Venezuela. We couldn't prevent them from doing it. And so it went out on the internet, as shocking as it was.
This is more like a promise. In the genocide now before you take it high. Cause the next day is kind. The next thing to me is a whole lot of soldiers Zulu and I ain't stretch back and you don't want me to pop. You let it loose. I knock your ass off, put a hole through your tooth.
You were captivated by Zulu 9 for how long time?
I was in captivity for roughly a year. It was 11 months and a few days, but it was roughly a year.
Long time.
You want some of this here? You want some of this here? That's what you want? That's what you want? You don't want none of this here. Take your ass home. Take your ass home.
Say something.
I ain't gonna shoot him. And this man not getting paid. He came here involuntarily. You understand?
It wasn't just myself either. I should mention as well too. It was also myself and Mikey, our sound man. But during that time, my life significantly changed.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And tell me about how did you get into that situation?
Because our skills were really honed for viral marketing and internet videos and reaching lots of people on a very thin budget, we were targeted for this job.
I got an ass whooping for you. Your head, you can catch that. You swift like a rubber band, I make your ass stretch back. And you don't want me to pop, let it loose. I knock your ass off, put a hole through your tooth. I'm a dentist, remember this. Me, mother, the double barrel blaster, squeeze your team, mother. I make your block clean. You don't want no problem. With a shotgun, I make your ass shake like all.
First of all, why did they want to shoot, like filming?
In the 60s, there was this saying, the revolution will not be televised. And Genghis Khan thought, why not? They knew that people would not be able to stop themselves from clicking.
Go, go, go.
But the time has come to come to understand that a Tech-9 semi-automatic 30-bullet weapon like that is not used to kill deer.
Mr. has to control your gun, never aim it at the middle of civilization. Make it a rule of thumb if you're holding one, never conceal it over racism. Point your finger, who's to blame? Television, radio, video games. When the NRA's got an AKA, same with the cats from the KKK. Shape your plots, switch your view, turn off the TV, kill the news. Consider everything you think to be true, instead of taking everything at face value. I'm standing in the Midwest, holding on my chest with a bulletproof vest on. But it really don't matter, cause a 9mm hammer straight through Teflon. And it's crazy when Oklahoma City bombing is common. And Michigan's vicious malicious system is fully arming. When a student got a textbook with a Tech-9 standing in a lunch line, detention slips, banana clips, apocalypse, and that's fine. So who's the bigger influence, you, me, or the president? The government considers it irrelevant, and it's evident, cause them cats drop bombs over arguments. Manson got them dancing while the media claims he's from hell. They just quick to point the finger, never put it back at themselves. Parents blame the television with a gun rack sitting up on the shelf, while they rally around the high school with a pocket full of shells.
What evidence do you have to support your claim that Planned Parenthood is racist? It undermines.
In this picture, he is yawning like a little baby.
Jumping out of buildings, lying, cheating, and stealing. They kill them, no need for grieving. They do it, they don't need a reason. Their faces change like seasons. The clinic versus semen, the 9 against the world, like angels versus demons.
Yeah, it's weird to do this film in this particular position that I'm right now, having another child. It has really affected me a lot, and I don't know what's happening, but after this ultrasound here, compared to my first pregnancy, with that one, I didn't see this fetus as much as a child like this one. Look at these pictures. These are what I got from ultrasound. And as I look at this fetus, it means more like a child to me right now. As you can see in this picture, he is yawning like a little baby. I'm still pro-choice, but something feels different after this ultrasound here.
Do you support the Zulu 9 and their actions?
I support the rule of law. I support the First and Second Amendments. I support the right of a community to defend themselves. That is my position on the Zulu 9. For a cause such as this, I'm only concerned about what one person thinks. And if that means the end of my career, so be it.
What evidence do you have to support your claim that Planned Parenthood is racist?
Evidence? Why can't I find an abortion clinic in your neighborhood, but they're all over mine?
So Hollis comes to me with this brilliant idea to shut down Congress. Where was America? First of all, you have to think about where America was at that point. Our economy was tanking. Everybody was struggling. Everybody was trying to make ends meet. And here you have Planned Parenthood growing fat and exterminating the next generation, taking executive vacations. So it was really the perfect backdrop for beginning to go, wait a second, as a nation we're giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to an organization that is intentionally exterminating the black population and destroying family. So it needed to be real and intense. And what do you do to make things real and intense in America? You lock up Congress. And so that's what Hollis and I did. As a result, Hollis and I were targeted.
Between the two houses, Tamara Black and Hollis George had mustered enough votes to defund abortion providers. It seemed Planned Parenthood's fate was sealed, but no one could predict what would happen next.
At 2:30 p.m. on November 20th, Speaker Black was leaving a coffee shop in Washington, D.C. when a gunman fired 2 rounds at her and missed. The interesting thing is Speaker Black was able to produce her own handgun, a 9mm, and actually fired back at the suspect and wounded him. I'm sure he couldn't have been more shocked.
It took me a second to realize the gunfire was coming from the man in the Sebring. And I hit the ground and pulled out my Ruger and just started firing into the car. And it jerked to a halt because I had wounded Philip Bell, that's the name of the guy who shot at me. And he jumped out of the car and bolted.
Police picked him up later that night in an emergency room. That's when we discovered that he was a part of the security team for a Planned Parenthood organization. At approximately the same time, Senator George was walking up the steps of his house when he was shot twice in the back, died instantly. And we felt that this was a direct result of his political beliefs in regards to the abortion issue.
When I heard that Hollis George was shot, it reminded me of the days when I was in college when Martin Luther got shot. When he gave his I Have a Dream speech, and I have a dream that all human beings will be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. Hollis George was a patriot of the same worldview.
I interviewed Hollis George. I stuck a mic in his face and he would not condemn the Zulu 9. And in fact, he actually perpetuated the lie that Planned Parenthood targeted black neighborhoods.
Somebody who's so irreplaceable, somebody who is so charismatic, who could just capture your imagination, capture your vision, who was the cheerleader for the war, was gone.
When you're trying to stamp out evil head on, it's normal to have the forces of evil rise against you. 2/3 of the New Testament was written in jail. 11 out of the 12 disciples died martyrs. When you stand for righteousness and you stand for truth, it has no communication with darkness. What communication has light with darkness?
And now keep in mind, this wasn't just some preacher or activist. This was a ranking U.S. senator. A U.S. senator refusing to condemn domestic terrorists.
He was doing some serious damage to them financially. And that's really ultimately where it comes to. I mean, we know what motivates the abortion movement, and it is clearly the dollar.
You don't see statues of committees for what a committee accomplished. You see statues of people who stood firm by the courage of their convictions. You don't see statues of people who balance the budget or what they've done for the economy. You see statues of people who've done things for all of humanity, who stood for the dignity of human life.
I need to clarify that Planned Parenthood was never legally found guilty of targeting us, even though the man who shot at me was on their payroll. So when I say Planned Parenthood targeted us, I should say they targeted us with ill will and a desire for revenge.
Even though we weren't able to prove that Planned Parenthood had hired assassins, it did give them a very big black eye.
Can you tell us about the new law that's been introduced?
The new law was named in honor of Hollis George. Basically what it does is it allows for the states to define prenatal murder as criminal activity and punish it under current murder law in each one of the states. It undermines the tyranny that's been advanced by the Supreme Court in deciding that they have the right to create law, and in so doing they have snatched away the right to life and liberty.
There are options. Obviously, if it's a states' rights issue, the states have the right to decide in which manner they're going to criminalize prenatal murder. For me personally, it's a life-liberty issue. If it's a life, you can't destroy it. But the states have the right to decide rape and incest exceptions, life in the mother exceptions. So we passed it in the House, and it was immediately adopted by the Grade 8.
Finally, we got some traction here in Georgia and adopted that model legislation.
It wasn't long until 40 states had adopted Georgia's law. But there's one particularly sweet moment, one moment that I really wished Hollis had been there for. And that was when the directors of Planned Parenthood came to Congress asking for a bailout. The no was unanimous.
If Planned Parenthood's first plan for your life was abortion, why in the world would you want to listen to them now? And why in the world would you want to fund them ever again? And so when this happened, I was not only thrilled, it was a move that was long overdue.
40 of the 50 states had adopted Georgia's law banning abortions. Planned Parenthood was out of business, but if there's demand, someone will always supply.
Our organization is called Women's Peace. After Planned Parenthood filed for bankruptcy, we found that there was a huge void in the provision of services, health services for women. We saw that women were spiritually and emotionally hungry for the kind of health care that they were not finding. Planned Parenthood unfortunately failed. We work very closely with the Episcopal and the Lutheran and the Unitarian support groups that are faith-based. They assist us in taking care of the women during the abortion and also post-abortion services. We serve women of every ethnicity. We welcome women from any background. We do, however, have a very large clientele from the African American community, and we are very proud to be serving those women. They deserve our kind of help. And it is the African American community who has been underserved, has been ignored. They have not been understood. We are in a position to understand them, welcome them, make them feel like worthy human beings. If I were to sum up who we are, I would say hope, change.
Several complaints and an ACLU representative.
Rat-a-tat-tat's all we got for a rap. Pistol punch and punch, trying to hold progression back. It's amazing how the powers always tend to know. Tend to fold your friends and foe, bringing this revolution to an ending, yo.
Appreciate you're asking and answering the same question over and over
On New Year's Eve, we received a tip that the Zulu 9 were at a residence in Raleigh. Sergeant Max Hennon led the team into the residence and encountered a young man named Devin Mackey. Devin had been watching television. He spun around, had the remote control in his hands. One of the officers thought it was a gun and shot him. As a result of the gunfire in the residence, the Zulu 9, who were actually in the adjoining house, ran into the backyard. They saw one of the officers at the original residence, fired at the officer, and then started running. The officer returned fire, shot one of the suspects in the back through the heart, killed him instantly.
Several complaints and an ACLU representative have informed us that a lawsuit will be pending. According to criminal justice expert Catherine Berry, this kind of force was excessive and, in her words, a racist rampage.
We later learned that the suspect we had shot was Marshall Howard, also known as Booker T.
Fuego at the door. We bring Sapphire in as well. We bring Sapphire in. She waiting on the inside of the door. My name is Howard Marshall, aka Booker T, and I'm a member of the Zulu 9.
Upon searching the house where we shot the suspect, what we discovered, it was devoid of any furniture, but what we did discover was there was a large amount of ammunition, explosives, hand grenades. People were toying with the ideas of conspiracy theories. Some of them were really out there, and they were having fun with it. But to us, we had to take it very seriously because we knew now that we were dealing with some very, very dangerous people.
Counsel, if you could take and move your questions on, we would appreciate you're asking and answering the same question over and over again. think you can go over some new material. It might be beneficial.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. One of the reasons why I continue to ask the same question to this gentleman is because he fails to answer them the way he answered on his deposition. Now, I'm finding myself a little bit hamstrung because I cannot go forward because he seems to not be cooperating with my line of questioning. But I will, sir, move on. I appreciate it. On January 19th, we caught our biggest break of the case. A young man had been driving back and forth in front of an abortion clinic in Atlanta when the police department, who'd been watching the clinic, followed him. He drove about 2 blocks away, parked his car, exited the vehicle, and walked over toward a dumpster. When the police patrol car pulled up next to his car, he saw the police, immediately turned around and started heading back toward his car, but they detained him. And what they discovered in the dumpster was the C4 explosives and a handgun. Biggest break we'd had till that point. The suspect's name was David Bowman. And during the booking process, they found the name Pinky tattooed on his shoulder. That led us back to the code names that we found at Booker T's house. During the interview with Bowman, we found that he was to meet Moss at a pizza parlor. So we staked out the pizza parlor and arrested Moss. During the search of Moss's home, we found a cache of weapons, we found tons of ammunition, but most importantly, we found a laptop. This put us in the unique position because we could impersonate Moss and give orders to the Zulu 9 to meet us at various locations where we could safely effect an arrest.
He's out on foot, he's running. Suspect is running. Bad brain. He's found.
Keep in mind that the police found 200 pounds of C4 explosives in Freddie Moss's house. They found a grenade launcher, high-capacity ammo drums. They were about to do something bigger than just drive-bys. Not that that isn't horrific enough, but 200 pounds of C4 and a grenade launcher? This could have been the next 9/11 if Homeland hadn't scooped them up.
During the arrest of the Zulu 9, we discovered the film company that was filming the videos for the Zulu 9. When we brought in the film crew, we determined through the film clips and the interviews with the Zulu 9 and the filmmakers themselves that during the filming, they were being held at gunpoint.
Air circulation to your brain is right here. I come around, I got you here too.
Boom guy. Let's do it on the boom guy.
Yeah, go ahead, white boy. Yeah.
Pretty sound.
The camera person will hold it.
I ain't worried about that.
The camera person will hold it. Guinea pig.
Personally, I don't believe that they had any fear for their life. I really believe they were sympathetic to the cause.
Your elbow, your forearm underneath his neck there. Don't put the knife. That's typically the way you would do it here. But don't do that. Straight under here. Just for practice purposes. Rip and rotate. Get it. Just get it. Yeah. Slice, rotate, down. There you go. Ooh, that would be a beautiful thing, man.
That did.
Now we ain't finished. Get your ass down.
The Attorney General at the time didn't agree with me. He didn't feel there was enough evidence to sustain a conviction, and they were set free.
You have waged war on our children, but now this war has two sides.
His whereabouts are unknown. There's stories around the fire, how he protected his people. He stood in the line of fire. He was born with the power to disappear, the power to shapeshift. He could be anybody here.
When I heard that the Zulu 9 were captured, I thought, finally, justice. I thought, it's over. Nope. Ray Lewis and his G-men broke so many laws trying to catch these guys that they basically wrote them a get-out-of-jail-free card.
In order to stop the Zulu 9, federal investigators chose to break the law and take their chances in court. Although Freddie Moss had been legitimately apprehended, police chose to enter his home without a warrant.
And that the evidence was illegally obtained, and we can't use that evidence as it was illegally obtained. Without that evidence, we can't proceed forward with this trial.
Because all of their leads to the Zulu 9 came from evidence illegally obtained, Judge Warren had no choice but to throw the case out.
It was just like the weathermen in the 60s. You can't fight fire with fire. Pyrrhic victory, Ray. Google it.
Reactions to the verdict were heated, from Zulu 9 critics and fans alike.
The ironic part of the whole thing is, if Homeland Security had allowed the state of Georgia to do its job, the Zulu 9 probably would all be behind bars right now.
8 of the Zulu 9 members were apprehended, but many believe that a 9th member, Genghis Khan, was never caught. According to authorities, Freddie Moss, the only Zulu member currently serving time, is Genghis Khan.
There's a lot of things in this world, you know, that people take for granted. Life is one of them. And that's something I want you guys to understand. People say that taking matters into your hands is like, it's a bad thing. But I look at it like it's necessary sometimes.
Why didn't the members get the orders from Genghis Khan's laptop? They didn't. They got it from Freddie Moss's laptop. I know Freddie Moss is Genghis Khan.
I took the time, and a couple of my colleagues, we would sometimes go together, sometimes separately, to visit him in jail. Could this be Genghis Khan? Have we gotten Genghis Khan? And the more I thought about it, the more I got to know Freddie, I'd say, no way. Freddie is not a general.
When I was coming up, I realized that was a part of the black experience that I had not experienced. You know, a lot of people judged me. They felt like I wasn't black enough. So I wanted to, go outside, and start meeting other people. But I started going to different places, hip-hop clubs, R&B, just started learning more about the black culture. It was something different, something I wasn't used to before. And then I met this guy named Freddie Moss. Freddie Moss was a guy, he didn't care about my background. He didn't care where I was from. He just really cared about who he was looking at now and what could be in the future, in my possible future.
But the other members claim that the hooded mastermind, Genghis Khan, is still out there.
It's hard for me to focus on what the Zulu 9 did because I'm thinking about the provocational agent. I'm thinking about why they did what they did. It's hard for me to just focus on the Zulu 9 without looking at the abortion industry.
One of the most popular theories is that Dr. Lamar Wickens, author of the Black Power novels such as The Fourth Reich, is Genghis Khan himself.
No, I'm not Genghis Khan. People out there that are hoping that there is a soldier out there still carrying the cause. But to answer your question more directly, with them thinking I am, considering my book, The Fourth Reich, you have Genghis Khan, who has quoted my words directly, in terms of, by any means necessary, right to bear arms, and basically taking matters into your own hands when our elected officials fail.
Taking matters into your hands is like, it's a bad thing. But I look at it like, it's necessary sometimes.
I find that so admirable. So of course, when I hear him quoting my works, I'm flattered. My concern is what has brought him to this point.
America in 10 years.
Bustin' through the gates of hell, bustin' at the bait. They said we take the kill and rape ourselves. Crack down aborting babies, all because we hate ourselves. Turning wounds into tombs, Lord, I'm here to save ourselves.
Right after my interview with Lamar Wickens, my water broke. On July 3rd, 2016, Leon Julius Juva was born on St. Joseph's. Durante, aka the Prince, and I had become friends during our filming. He didn't want to do an interview, but when he found out that we were in LA, he came to see Leon and me. Durante had joined the Zulus because his girlfriend had had an abortion without telling him. I wondered how he would feel about holding my baby. Watching Durante hold my son, something changed inside of me.
The investigation was very hard for me because I believed in their cause. I did not believe in the manner in which they were carrying it out. It was against the law, and it had to be stopped.
Let's honor them. It's overdue.
Strapped against the system, trying to kill us with mind games that got my mind framed, toting deadly thoughts, plotting to punish the system as if I'm Freddie Moss, in the name of souls in the fetal that's already lost, who won't get the chance to shine like a double coat of gloss, who won't get the chance to blow like a flameless Molotov, who won't get the chance to fight with a ball on their back, they won't get the chance to survive, there's no call in them stat, won't get to play ball or even ball in a leg, it's just another soldier wasted from the balls in the set, so rat-a-tat-tat, through the front, out the back, now the war got two sides, in the darkness, skull and bones, GPS unknown, we bang on black genocide, cause we are the Zulu, the Zulu, the Zulu, the Zulu, yeah, we are the Zulu 9, we are the Zulu, the Zulu, the Zulu, the Zulu, yeah, we are the Zulu 9.
Welcome to the Atlanta Zulu 9 Museum. It's one of 3 in the country. The others are in Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. What we have here to welcome you to the museum is Booker T. He's the only one of the Zulu 9 who actually lost his life. Typically, all of the members of the Zulu 9 wore this outfit. The SWAT logo's on the back. This was intended to make it appear as though the police had arrived, but by the time they figured out they weren't the police, it was too late. You'll notice that he's also carrying a flashbang grenade. The purpose of that was to stun and confuse people, not to kill them. You'll notice the blue gloves, which are surgical gloves. Every one of the Zulu 9 wore these to demonstrate that they were the ones delivering babies. This room serves as an introduction to Molotov Mitchell. Molotov was a filmmaker, pro-life activist, who was kidnapped by the Zulu 9, who forced him to film their operations while they were underway. In the room you'll see the actual camera that was utilized by Molotov during those operations, as well as some related equipment. Molotov's mugshot is posted here simply to remind people that he was kidnapped and arrested, but all of his filming was done under duress. Filming was really the key to the success of the Zulu 9 project. They believed that the more people knew about what was happening with black genocide was the answer to solving the problem. To this day, they hold the record for viral videos. This room serves as a replica of Dr. Al Hunt's abortion clinic in Greenville, North Carolina. What you'll notice is an ultrasound monitor that's facing our direction, but in reality, when women would come in for an ultrasound, the screen was always facing away from the client. They found the client, if they saw a baby in their womb, would too often want to get out of the chair. Dr. Hunt's clinic was attacked by Stack. His original name was Julius Ketta. You'll see that this table is the actual table that was in the clinic. There are some bullet holes from the shotgun blast, as well as some bullets in the table. We feel fortunate to have the real artifact here in our museum. Ultrasound cost was $275, but if you wanted to go through with the abortion, he'd throw it in for free if you'd pay the $400 fee. Genghis Khan called this a basement bargain. Now we come to the room that is a recreation of the apartment of Celia Long. Celia Long worked in an abortion clinic as a bookkeeper. One night when she was with her friends Miles Avery and Mark Linus, the three of them were introduced to the baseball grenade, which you see sitting in the middle of the room. Zulu 9, we don't know exactly which one, threw this through the window, and the blast killed all three of them instantly. You may be wondering where the third person is in this recreation, Mark Linus. He was standing in the doorway where I am now. He was killed by the shrapnel from the blast. If you look at the wall, you'll see a painting. That is an actual painting taken from Celia Long's apartment. Celia was a painter. This is Sapphire. In her mugshot, she carried 2 Glocks, both of which are here. I'm holding in my hands a fully automatic AK-47 with folding stock, 75-round drum magazine. It also contains a 37mm grenade launcher. We can only imagine what kind of damage the prince would have done with this weapon had he utilized it. Thankfully, for his victims, he only utilized a simpler version of the AK. On the wall in front of me is a blow-up of the cover of Jet magazine dated March 22nd, 1973. This is a black community magazine that was founded in 1951. This actual magazine was found in the backpack of the prince. In this particular issue of Jet magazine, there's a number of interesting articles on this topic. One of the people that is interviewed in this story later became quite well known, but at this time he's obscure. He is quoted as saying, "Abortion is genocide." He goes on to say that if it's growing, it's living. This man we now know as Reverend Jesse Jackson. One of the things that we all know as a truism is that power corrupts, and as does money. Unfortunately, Reverend Jackson went from being a defender of black babies to one who sold out for the money and the power. This is a photograph that may be familiar to you, made the rounds on the internet in a big way. It shows the policeman and the detective, the site where Booker T was shot. He was the only one of the Zulu 9 that actually died in the course of his action. This was a damning photograph to police when people realized the joy that the police had taken in killing Booker T. Fuego utilized 2 sniper rifles, one for his actual attacks and one for training purposes. This is a replica of his training weapon. He used it for practice as well as hunting. The actual weapon that was used in his attacks was destroyed by the police when he was apprehended. Now I'd like to show you one of our greatest treasures at this museum. This is what we'd call a legendary weapon, like the bow of Hannibal or the rifle of George Washington. Stack utilized this as the first man in every raid. So while most of what we have in our museum is a replica, this is the genuine article.
On March 23rd, we awarded Hollis George the Congressional Gold Medal posthumously. And it was at that event that I announced that Jacob Spell would be heading up the committee to create the monument for the unborn.
So I was trying to come up with an idea for the monument. And what really inspired me was the Walls of Jericho. The Memorial to the Generation That Never Was utilizes a circular design, how things come full circle.
You know, I've often said there needs to be a monument of some sort, but If we were to put a name to every child that's been killed in abortion, it would be a Vietnam memorial, and the same size and style of the Vietnam memorial would go on for so many miles you couldn't walk and see it. But this is at least an accurate representation of the kinds of people we've lost, people that would be a part of our community right now that we'll never know.
Atop of the wall stand the 50 statues, the people of this generation that could have been.
People who would have been world leaders, people who may have been the President of the United States who were destroyed.
And people, regardless of what they do, they are valuable because of who they are. They are human beings created in the image of God Almighty.
What a monument to humanity this is, and this is going to be.
We've already filed an injunction to keep that from happening. It's bad enough that the Zulu 9 are walking the streets as free men. That monument would represent a triumph of hate and religious oppression over democracy, and Americans just won't let that happen. That monument's not going up.
In the center is a black obelisk made of pyrophyllite, and it bears the names of all the pro-life activists, including the Zulu 9.
I was one of the ones pushing to have the Zulu 9's names inscribed in that stone, because it was their efforts that actually brought the abortion holocaust to an end.
The abortion providers are the real heroes, not Genghis Khan, not Booker T. Every one of the Zulu 9 deserved to end up like Booker T, dead. Yes, dead because they killed innocent Americans, because they disagreed with their politics. That's not democracy, that's the Taliban.
It is a circular fortress that has 50 people of all different walks of life, all different careers. They represent the generation that never was, and that's what the memorial's called.
I take particular offense, actually, at the wording of the memorial to the generation that never was. Actually, it's a generation that shouldn't have been.
I feel the monument to the generation that never was is appropriate because it depicts the future that might have been had this Holocaust never occurred.
I'm sad that such a monument had to be created, especially when it didn't have to be. But let's honor them. You know, it's overdue, and let this monument, you know, stand for something that will never be again.
I expected to tell a story about the Zulu 9. That's my job. But as I learned, I realized that their story, my story, Leon's story, they were all connected. After 9 months, I had created a new person. And I became a new person too. Little Leon is about to celebrate his first birthday, and Uncle Sippy gave him a book by Dr. Seuss. I'll be reading it to him every night. When he grows up, he'll remember it for the rest of his life. This is his favorite part. Voi ihmisparkaa, heikkoa arkaa, peloissaan vavahtaa kun kylmät tuulet puhaltaa. Aivan yksin universumissaan. Taidanpa hänet pelastaa, koskapa. Arvatenkin vastaan, pieni tai suuri, olen vain ihminen